Hello everybody, welcome to Friday. It's Ben's Bricks Design Live. We're going to be working on some microfighters today, and I'm hoping everything streaming okay comes through. Today's music is going to be brought to you by the No Copyright Sounds or Non-Copyright Sounds YouTube channel, so let me know in the comments if you can't hear it. Again, I'm kind of new to this, so I want to make sure that everybody can hear music and can hear me. I apologize also for the late start. Apparently I didn't have the right streaming key, so had to get that real quick. And I'm hoping this starts up right away. I'll keep an eye on the chat over here, and I'll keep an eye on whether this starts up right or not. Sometimes I need to refresh the browser. But again, welcome to Friday. Today's model that we're working on, if you didn't see the screenshot from, or the thumbnail from the video card, is the Hapan, I think it's Hapan Battle Dragon. It is a ship from, I might get really tired of this music too. It is a ship from, and I don't see this going live yet, so I may not have it right. So give me a second. This might just be the wrong one. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay. So anyway, this ship specifically is from, it's a Legends story, and it's from a group in the galaxy called the Hapan Consortium. And they have, this is entirely too loud for even me. I'm gonna turn you down a little bit. Thank you. This is going to be something that is mostly in comic books and in novels. I think the first time you hear something like this is a Legends novel called The Truce at Baccarat. So that's what we're going to be working on today. It's kind of an odd shape. I thought I'd give myself a little bit of a challenge because the last couple ones haven't been hard enough. I guess we'll see. Can I turn that down from here? No, I can't. Okay. So, yeah, this is going to be annoying. I kind of want to like barely up. Anyway, so yeah, that's what we're going to be working on today. But before we get started, I'd like to go over a couple things. I have my talking points, so I don't lose track of the things that I thought of during the day, during the week. Oh, you know, the first thing we need to do is talk about or I need to show you guys where we left off last time, so and we'll get to that one in a second. So last week we were working on the Providence class, and here's kind of where we left off. The Providence class, yeah, see, I don't understand why it's just going to Ben's Brickstream Live. It doesn't have like, it doesn't, I need to figure it all out. I'd like it to go to like the video that everybody's waiting on to like then just start broadcasting in there, but I can't, I don't understand why if I put the right key in there, why it's not just doing that. So I don't know. Anyway, for those who are watching now, thank you for joining us, joining me. So this is where we left off last time. We had most of this, the front end bit going. I'm very excited to show you guys this. The back end, I was really excited how that was going to shape up. It looked nice and smooth and had that nice bulbous feel to it. And then the engines, we just kind of like levitated back here because they were going to go somewhere in that area, but we really didn't show any, we didn't really attach them. So here's the final product, and I'm really, really pleased with this. Look how awesome that turned out. I was able to figure out how to attach this Uruk-hai sword from Lord of the Rings in here. And I'll see if I can kind of show you guys how that attaches. Let's see. Yeah, so this worked out really well. It's kind of, I mean, it's not a cheat. It's not technically illegal. You know, it's a bar into an axle hole. So, I mean, that works. You know, that looks like it works just great. And it's got that nice, you know, this isn't covered up on the bottom really well, but I'm not terribly worried about that. Some things I don't like are the transitions between here, and I don't like the little gap here, but I mean, if you wanted to, you could add some like 1x1 studs or something like that, or 1x1 round plates right there to give it a little more greebling, a little more visual, aesthetically pleasing look. So then it was just a matter of putting the conning tower up there, putting whatever this little thing down here was, and I really like the way this shape right here turned out. It was really nice. There's a little gap right here that isn't great, but I couldn't really fit anything in there. And I'm not really happy with the way the engine block turned out because I had to kind of get it a 3-wide plate here, and that was offset. So I may go back and try to have this little engine cowling bit come under here a little bit because there's a little bit of flanging or whatever that is under there. But overall, I think it turned out well. This is my approximation of Admiral Trench, who, again, I showed you the pictures last time, was like a spider humanoid creature. I actually found somebody on eBay who was selling a custom-made Admiral Trench, so I'm talking to him about trying to get that remade. He makes them in small batches and didn't have any more, but he said if he did, he'd let me know and I could buy that. So that's where we left off last week. I'll go ahead and close these out. Do not save that. We'll get to that guy in a second. I'm going to leave it an untitled model here for just a moment. So so that's where we left it off. What I'd like to do is maybe I'm going to leave a link to, and I don't know if I have or not, but I'd like to leave a link to the ships that I'm working on in the description, and perhaps get some input on which ones you guys would like to see. I think I mentioned this last week, but I've just the list of ships is ever growing. And just when I think I can't really scrape the bottom of the barrel of Star Wars anymore, I find 5 more ships during the week. So, and it's not that I am running out of ideas or creative drive to then design these. It's just a matter of, you know, I kind of really don't care which one I do next. So the guy who does the shirts for the Lego shirts that I've been wearing, Will, he always says, just go from the top of the list. If you got a big list, just start from the top of the list. So that's kind of what I've been doing, except I got a request for the Hapan Battle Dragon, so that's why we're doing this one today. I got it on the Eckhart's Ladder Discord channel, so I'll be able to post it there later. So that I'll put a link to the list up there, and if you guys have any input on which ones you'd like to see, then that's what we're going to do. Next, we're going to talk about the beer we're drinking. Happy Friday, everybody. Cheers. This is a Shiner Dark Cherry. This is from Shiner Brewing here in Texas. It is a, it says Shiner Morello Dark Cherry. So it is, and I'm going to wait for my beer friend to chime in on the video, I'm sure later, about the type of beer it is, but I think it's a Spätzle. Or that's just the name of the brewing company. It on first blush, it tastes a little like cough medicine, but you know, it not in like a bad way. You know, people kind of like the flavor of certain cherry flavored things, and after a few sips, you start to get away from that flavor. So that's pretty good. The other beer we're going to try, and I'm going to tell you guys about this place here in Austin called Witchcraft Tap Room. They have a thing called mystery beer, where you buy a bag and it says mystery beer, or mystery beer rescue, and for $10 you get a 6-pack of unknown beers. So I already looked through these and I know which one I'm going to do for today, although I'll show you guys which ones we got. We got this one, Brewer's Pale Ale, Anchor Brewing. It's a Citra hop blend. It's a bottle, so that's good. We got Lagunitas, which is another, I thought they were a Texas brewing company, but they're out of California. I've actually had this one before. It's pretty good. The Cigar City Brewing, which, again, I don't know where that's out of. Maybe Florida. Haven't had that, but I've heard of it. I've heard the brewing company. We've got a coffee porter from Oscar Blues, which there's an Oscar Blues brewing here in Austin, but the Oscar Blues is out of Colorado, my hometown. We've got a Last Stand Brewing Company, the Saaz Blonde, or Saaz Blonde. And then finally, and this is one I'll be trying later because it's right down the road here, it's Fourth Tab Brewing. And I believe I've had this one before. +2 vitality. It's a blonde ale, so it's a little smoother, it's a little lighter. I'm pretty excited about being able to try that. Also, this, I just saw this in the store today, and I'm going to share it with everybody. It's the Texas Shiner Heatwave, and it is, Shiner does this, where they, and this is packed with 2 beers each, or 3 kinds of beers, 2 each. So this one will have the cherry limeade, which I haven't had. Not really sure what to think about that. The sea salt and lime. I'm a big sea salt fan, especially like sea salt and vinegar chips. I put coarse sea salt on almost everything I cook. So that'll be interesting. And this, arguably, my favorite beer. There's a karaoke bar here in Austin that we go to a lot that asked me one day because apparently was the only one drinking it, me and my friends, and they're like, we're going to get some new Shiners in. Do you want Ruby Redbird or do you want Prickly Pear? And I was like, well, Prickly Pear. I was like, why are you asking me? And they're like, because you're the only one who drinks it. I'm like, okay, I need to stop coming to this bar so often. So anyway, that's what we're talking about on the beer front. I may mention these again, and I will link everything down in the comments after we record. So that's it with the beers. Let's see. Oh, the foibles of Bricklink. Now, before moving on too much, I'd like to say that I've gone ahead and put in my order for, I don't know if I showed you guys my owl project. I think I did. I put in the order for that, so at some point, if I can get a camera working, we'll have a day where I'm building that. I want to get that done by Brick Fiesta. I forget what prompted this note, but and I'm going to link to Bricklink. They're the ones who provide the software that we're going to be working on, and they're head and tails above. That phrase doesn't make any sense. Head and shoulders above other places in order to buy raw brick. There's, you can get it from Lego, you can get it from Brick Owl, and a couple other places where people have loose brick that you can buy, but Bricklink's pretty much the standard. There are some things I don't like about it, and I know they're making changes and whatnot. There's ways to fulfill an order on your want list that either gets all your settings right, meaning I only want to buy from the United States or whatever country you're in, or I want to complete the entire order. Those two are not really linked together very well. So if you do one version of buying it, you end up buying from 5 different countries, and the shipping can be a problem. The reason I bring this up is the RQ order that I did, this RQ4 that I designed for an online friend who I finally met today and delivered the rest of these parts. These parts came in about 8 different orders, and one of them was from a shop in overseas that we didn't know about it for months and months and months, and it, or I should say weeks and weeks and weeks. It was a couple of months, and it was supposed to be a Christmas present. Ended up finally being delivered today, and it's now almost April because these orders were being held at Customs and Border Patrol, or the addresses were wrong, or whatever, but it was just such a pain in the butt. Now that I'm ordering for the owl order, what I was trying to do is get you try to get as few shops involved as possible to lower your shipping and handling costs. And I'm going to put something out on Twitter real quick because this is a different address, and I just want to make sure people know that I'm streaming. The problem that I ran into was I ran into a lot of shops that do either a minimum buy or a minimum average lot size, which is kind of a pain in the butt. When you're doing microfighters like I'm doing, you end up not being able to really fulfill a lot of orders because what you're buying is such a small lot. And to be able to then find exactly what you need, but you can't fulfill it at the least expensive shop is really frustrating. So I really wish there was a way to filter out shops that did a minimum average lot. And Bricklink, if you're listening, minimum average lot. I get it. I understand why shops do that. They don't want to go through the hassle of, you know, this is a $1.50 order. I'm barely making any money off of this, so why put my time and effort into it? But there are people who just would like that, and you know, I would patron a store that would do that. Star Wars design. All right, that's out of the way. So, I think that's all really. Yes, Mason, it does need more wing. Let me show you real quick. RQ4. This is an actual Air Force plane, and so from this side on, it doesn't look like it. You know, it doesn't look like it's that crazy. But look at that. Look at that nonsense. Look at that wing. That's really ridiculous. I think it's a neat looking plane. I'm excited to have this kind of in my arsenal of things that I've built. I'd like to go back and maybe build. There are other models of remote planes like this that now that I have this, I can use it to work off of this specifically, and then tweak the wings, tweak the engines, tweak the front end, whatever. It's nice not having to worry about, well, how am I going to put a cockpit in here? That's one thing that not too worried about. I like the way that I got the shape here. Could have been a little better. It's a little chunky, but I think it works. You know, I'm really excited about it. The lady I did this for finally got the parts today, so I'm going to get pictures of it when it's complete and built. So we'll see how it checks out once it's done. I think the wings. I did my best with the. I don't know if. Let's see if I've got a good picture of like the underside of it. I don't think I did. The underside is mostly Technic brick, but I built at least the wing part of it with the brick. I had to be able to make sure that it didn't stress out too much and it didn't sag too much, because anything like that, anytime you build with Lego, there's weight on it. And the farther out it gets from the main core of what you're building, it's going to start drooping a bit because it's not titanium. It doesn't have the same sort of, that size especially, doesn't have the same sort of engineering involved. So you have to kind of tweak it. And so there's a lot of, I don't have any lift arms right available, but you get a lot of these long guys, right? I'm going to try something here. You get a lot of these long guys, right? These long lift arms and pins, and you just go like that, and then you repeat that a bunch of times, and hopefully the underside of it, you make that, and then you put your plates on top of it. So that's nice and sturdy, and it doesn't droop as much as if you get a bunch of plates stacked against each other. So I like the way it turned out, and I'm hopeful that they like it once it's all put together. What else were we going to talk about? Oh, new minifig. So, and I'm going to have to turn the camera back for this, but this is a bit that I found. That's me. Ideally, it's supposed to be me. I'm going to grow the beard out, so I may need a new little figurehead for it. But this is just pieces that I found. It's got jeans and a little alien shirt and glasses and a little chin patch. So this is, I'm going to take pictures of this, and that'll be the new channel icon. I like having a selfie brick like this because you can use it for all kinds of stuff. They're just fun to have around. You can't really get these made. I just had to find the parts for it. But Creative Brick Builders was nice enough to include this in an order that because they order a lot, and they added this to one of their orders, and I basically paid for just the figure. It's very nice of them. I'll link them in the comments afterwards. I also purchased a bunch of stuff for later builds. I'm going to flip this again, sorry. This is an Umbaran soldier. This is from the Clone Wars, so he's going to be in a build for later. This is a Geonosian soldier. I've got a microfighter of him that I did a couple weeks ago. I'm excited for this. This is a patrol, like stormtrooper, an Imperial patrol trooper. Hopefully I'll be able to build his figure pretty soon. So they package them really nicely at Creative Brick Builders. And I'm really happy and they've got a lot of Star Wars figures, and every time I ask them about it, I can send them a list and they'll pull whatever I need. So it's really great. This is the only actual set I've worked on in the last couple weeks. It's Yoda Starfighter. This is an actual set. It's nothing I designed, but this is really the only thing I've built from Lego in the past little while. It was a lot of fun. I like the wing configurations, the way they're kind of sloped and slanted. There's a lot of Technic bit in there to keep them. You can kind of see in the back the Technic things holding them on there. It's a lot of fun. And then of course it's got Yoda sitting in there, and he's a stocky, he's a no leg bending. I don't know what the term for that is. They're like baby legs. The only problem is he's a pain in the butt to get out. Just like, can't come out. Come out you must. He's got them legs that don't bend. So that's the set I've been working on. Other than doing microfighters. Oh, I do have one microfighter also that I finished, sort of. This is not my design, but I got it built, so it'll add to the fleet. This is a TIE Defender. It's a little fragile. So this is a ship that, and you can see right off the bat, I thought I ordered 6 of those. I only ordered 3. I have some in the dark bluish gray, but it won't look right. And then I'm missing some pieces back here that are those are the wrong color. This shows up in, it first showed up in the X-Wing TIE Fighter video game a long time ago. And then it showed up again in, I think, a few novels and comic books, but then it showed up in Rebels. And it was like the kind of the badass TIE Fighter. It's supposed to rival the A-Wing. It's supposed to be very fast. It has a shield generator. It's supposed to be able to have hyperspace capabilities. So it's just this kind of all-around. It was designed by Admiral Thrawn, or it was his project that he wanted to do. The only thing I don't like about this, and I may rework it, is the friction pin is fine in the back, but you can see this wobbles a bit just because it's on a Technic pin back there. And this thing up here is just, it's barely hanging on there. I don't like that at all. It looks good. I like the way it looks. I might change these grill plates for something, but this is another design that I got from, I don't have the name of the designer on the top of my head right now, but Turbo Wiki maybe, or another one of those Arendelle 2016s or something. Anyway, that's what we got built. I don't have any more on order just yet, but we'll get to buying more and we can put some of those together. So I think that's about it for like chit chat and housekeeping stuff. Oh, if you guys like, if you guys would like a different time to do this, I'm kind of wide open. Not completely wide open. There's days that I can't do this, and there's times that I would rather not do this. I don't really like doing these maybe on weekends late because I feel like plans might crop up. I don't like doing these in the middle of the day because I have kids and plans might crop up. And they have a lot of extracurricular stuff that, you know, I like to be more involved in. But weekday nights, if those are better, I don't mind doing some things like that. If you guys have an opinion about that, I would certainly take that into account. I was going to talk about TechSlug and our monthly builds, but I don't think so just yet because I'm not really sure if I'm going or not. I'm also working on, I just did, and this is the last thing before we actually start getting into this, now that we've been going half hour. I might go a little longer today since it was a little late start. But this is the site I keep mentioning called Rebrickable. This site basically says, I have a certain set. Let's say it's this Yoda set, right? It's this Starfighter set. You can go in here and put in the set that you've got and say, let's see, Yoda Starfighter. And it'll say, here's some other sets that you can build with that set. So these people have made a bunch of different kind of mocks, my own, I wouldn't say a bunch because apparently there's 8. Different things that they've built with those pieces. So you know that I can make this with just the pieces that I've got. Well, it also is kind of a, hey, look at the mocks that I've made, and it doesn't really matter what they're made out of, it's just I've made a lot of mocks. So, and it's a good place to put your instructions. So here's one that I did the instructions for this one today. This one's a Defender class light Corvette, and this is from the Old Republic era, and it's, the figure is the very generic unfortunately generic Jedi Counselor or Consular, no name. So you can technically put any Jedi you want in there. But this was actually a Lego set. This actually came out, I want to say like 3 years ago. And hi, Zach. How you doing? Earlier is great. I get home from work at about 4 Central Time, so I'd have to do it right then. My day job doesn't let me out any earlier than that. I could do my best to maybe look at 4:30. That's something I could look into. I don't mind coming home and doing it right then. The only issue I would have with that is maybe if somebody needs a ride home from school, I want to be available for that. So doing it at 5 o'clock today was a little bit of a chance, but I might try to do it a little earlier in the day if we could do it on a Saturday or Sunday or something like that. Again, I might just kind of do it randomly. You know, I'd like to do a schedule where it's at least once a week so I can get people used to it and tune in kind of thing. But at this point, with my tens of subscribers, I'm not really locked into anything. So, but anyway, this site is great because you can get a set like this and I can submit it, and it gives you the inventory, like all the parts that you need for it. And then if you want to, you can buy all the parts from Bricklink or from BrickOwl. What it also has is the instructions, and it's just a PDF file that will show you how to build it. So I think this is great. I think it's a great site. I've used it a lot. I've got about 50 or so instructions on here. So out of the 100 and almost 200 now designs that I have, I've only got about 50 instructions done. And, you know, the instructions are, you know, for an 85-piece set, it's not that bad. So anyway, that's about it for that. Let's go ahead and start cranking on this guy. So we're going to do the Hapan Battle Dragon. And where did that thumbnail go? All right, so the Hapan Battle Dragon, again, it's this weird ship that there's not many pictures of it. And I thought about using this picture, but it's somebody's artwork. You can see the sign down there, or the signature down there. And I didn't really want to use this as my channel icon because it felt like I needed to get the rights for it or something like that. But here's not a bad photo. I mean, you can kind of see it's a weird sort of, it almost evokes kind of the new Cylon base stars a little bit. And kind of that split level. What is going to be challenging about this build is it's round. And I won't say there's no round Lego, but there are few round Lego in comparison. Everything is pretty much right angles. They've done better about it over the years, and it'd be nice to try to incorporate some of the more organic feels to these ships. So you can see it's going to be split levels. Technically they rotate, but what happens is, I don't know if you can really tell from this angle or not, but these guys right in here are like major turbo laser ion cannons. Apparently these things are super powerful, but they're a glass cannon. They're wicked strong, but they fall apart pretty easily. The rotation mechanism is really funky, but they build these things by the thousands. Like, these things just kind of and it's a capital ship. They overwhelm their opponent, basically. They are, I wouldn't say they're isolationists, but the Hapan Consortium lives kind of in the, if not the outer rim, then it lives past this sort of foggy cluster of stuff. So not a lot of people bother them. The funny thing about the, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get an image of what they look like, but they look like regular people. They're just a different kind of tribe. The image that I have of like a admiral or something is a guy in a white admiral suit with like gold epaulets, and I'm like, that looks like Earth Navy circa 1980 or something like that. It's just kind of weird. So I'm not really sure how to do a minifig on this. I'm just going to kind of randomly probably put a white suited like Imperial officer in there, and then just probably ask for a custom figure of some kind. Yeah, there's probably a famous Hapan in literature, and I might go back and look at that later. But in the meantime, I don't know that we're going to actually start with that or not. But the reason I like starting with the, hi Craig. Craig is my friend from college. Craig is in New York still, and he's a phenomenal singer. He was always one of, if not the best singers in my musical theater group when I was in college. And now we dish on live NBC shows on Facebook together, because so far none of them have been awesome. Let me just say that. So thanks for joining, Craig. Good to see you, or good to see your typing. The reason I would be looking for a figure to put in this is because mainly, and where did it go? I think I just scrolled past it. So I need to figure out a place to set them in the ship. So my thinking is it'll probably sit just like right smack dab in this, although I'd like to have kept these other rotational cannons out here. That may have to be foregone, although I might be able to sit them right in the front here. So let's see. First of all, we're going to try some round plates. Round. This screen is a little small, so I have a hard time kind of scanning down a little bit. So here's a good start. The problem is we're not going to be able to get those nice egg shape that look that they've got, but I might be able to kind of fudge it a little bit. So wedges in Lego come in different angles. Like if you look at a wedge plate, they come in different, you got just straight 45, straight 32. A lot of these get a little steeper. These are going to be a little steeper. These are going to be even steeper. Some of these aren't quite, but you can get different angles, and you can kind of fudge the angles. So what I might do is something along the lines of this. And again, this is this weirdness where these things don't snap in, so I'm just going to do that. And then there's a little round plate that you can get, 2x3 modified plate. That's not it. Maybe it's a 3x2. Oh, that's something I'd like to suggest. I think I brought that up about being able to just hold down delete. Yeah, there we go. This comes into play a lot when you want to make it rounded, but it's got that stupid hole in the front. So, I mean, that's a good shape. And, it's sort of up to interpretation whether you want it really long or really shallow. I wish there was like a better, I wish like Fractal Sponge had a good image of this, or somebody on DeviantArt had like redone it in CGI. But I don't see one. Looks like somebody tried to do it in Minecraft. Or that may be Lego. Look at that. Yeah, so you can see they kind of struggled with how to make it rounded and how to make it elegant, but there's little you can do with that. And we're going to do it on such a small scale that, I mean, we can make it work from the side on. That's not going to be too bad, but so this would be a good start until I think of something different. And since it's rounded on the top, let me get rid of these guys and do this. Oh, and the other thing is we do have to have a guy sitting there. I don't like the way it has that little thing right there. So it's not going to let me do that. Stupido. So let's do a 4x4 plate just to hold this. Oh wait, that's entirely too big. Nah, let's just do it. Starting to look like the Kessel Run Millennium Falcon. I'm not convinced I like that piece there, but I don't know how else to make it rounded. It's not too bad. Looks like a grotesque guitar pick maybe. So that'll be our top, and then since the bottom's a little more shallow, we'll probably do just the same thing, but with different wedge shapes. Wedge plate. So since these were, what were these? Those were a 6. I don't think I can do anything as wide. I might be able to just do this. All right, y'all in the chat, are you guys drinking anything? It's Friday. It's past 5:30. Any fun beverages I should know about? I mean, I do live in like brewery central down here. I think we've reached brewery mass. Saturation point. I don't like that. That's not long enough. I could always just kind of put a thing in there. You know, a thing. Yeah, but can you do a thingy off that rail? That is my favorite movie, I think, not of all time, but it's pretty close. Scott Pilgrim. I quote that movie all the time. I watch it at least once every month or so. And I believe Edgar Wright is a genius. He's a directorial genius. So that's not too bad. They're equal width. This is like an optical illusion because it feels like this one's a little smaller. Or this one's a little bigger. We can also do, let's see. That looks layered, so I'm not gonna have a problem doing, oh, you know what? I wonder if there's smaller round plates. If there's smaller versions of that. Doesn't look like it. But I could do this. Oh, cheating. Now I'm cheating. Watch out. Copy. Go underneath. Paste. I'm surprised it let me do that. Get rid of that. So, this one's going to be a weird one because, at least with like the munificent class, or the T-Wing, or any number of recently done models, it at least kind of looks Star Warsy. This looks very not Star Warsy. This one kind of gives me a like a homeworld feel, or a Battlestar Galactica feel. So I have a feeling that even after I do this, people are going to think that it's maybe a base star. And the other thing is, if I do this any bigger, yeah, you know, it's probably a good size. I mean, most microfighters are that size. Good example. Just pull one out here. This is Kylo Ren's TIE Striker. So, I don't know if I've done this once before or not, but you can see it's a certain length, right? So it's black, so it's hard to see the stud length, but that's a little over 5'8". That's about 10 deep, and it's probably about 8 wide, right? It's not very big, and you can see how big the figure is in comparison. So it takes up a good chunk of that. So the idea of making, by comparison, this one that's not my design, but it's still pretty good, is relatively huge, right? And I can't even calculate. It's 3, 3, 3, 1, or no, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1. It's like 16 long, probably. And it's fairly tall. It's not very wide, but it's fairly tall. It's very massive. It's a high part count. And so the initial goal is to try to get these to be smaller but it has to be proportional to the figure without being like completely ridiculous. We're walking a fine line between being ridiculous and super chibi, super deformed stuff where it's cute, but it doesn't look stupid. And let's see, do I still have a minifigure in here? No. All right, so you know what? This music is just ridiculous. I'm sorry to do this, but I'm going to go back to my music. I haven't had any problems with it so far, so we'll just do that. I didn't think there would be that much singing in it, honestly, and that just kind of gets distracting. I'm going to actually turn that up a little bit. If that gets too bothersome, let me know. So I'm going to do a 2x2 round tile with a round tile, come on, with a hole in it. And then we're going to put an axle, axle 3L. Oh, they don't do that like that. Okay, I guess it just doesn't matter. Oh, it just says 2 or 3 or whatever. Okay. Nope, that's too big. So we'll just do one of these guys, and these guys are ubiquitously blue or red. So again, trying to make sure that I keep the colors purchasable over on the side over there. I'd hate to design something that later, come to find out, nobody can build because it's a not available anywhere. Can't buy those parts. All right, so that's what we got. Not a bad start, not a great start. This one may take a little more time than I thought to kind of figure out, because that's the basic shape, that's the basic size. You know, it's 6 wide, it's, you know, maybe 10 long. So if we wanted, we could push it a little bit, but I think at this point, the only way to make it any bigger would be to, I'd hate to double up on how wide it is, but I think that's the only way we're going to be able to get a person in there, a figure. And again, the figure has to sit in here somewhere, so I'm thinking that, you know, putting them right in the axle area is going to be our best bet. So, I'm going to undo what I did just so I can move that over there. And I think I'll start here and take this guy away and just, nope. I'm going to keep these things underneath it for now, but I'm going to spread these guys out a little bit. So if I could just move them over and then move them over. And at that point too, what I can do is I can use these round plates again and make a more, lack of a better term, sexy, except that's not going to work. Oh no, it's a round plate. But I can give this, I'm pointing at it like you can see where I'm pointing on the screen. I can give this area a nicer, rounder, and I think there's a piece that does that. Round plate. It's a lot of knowing what plates or what pieces are available. See, that would have been perfect. That might be all right. But it's conical, you know, it's egg shape. I just don't know how I'm going to be able to do that. See, this photo doesn't do it justice. This seems like it's a little bit more cylindrical, and I don't really think that's right. This is like the best look at it, but you can see it's very egg-shaped. So I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to do this one. these are better in the back here. So I should have actually started with this. This is actually not a bad idea because I could take this and make it an area that the minifigure can sit in. I just don't know how to then make the front nicely curved. Maybe. That just seems like more of the back. And these plates are great, but they're also expensive, and I don't think they come in gray. And that one, it's got like a weird red line on it. I don't like that. I'm using these for the owl that I've made. And yeah, see, it doesn't come in gray. And again, I don't know what color these ships are. You know, it's either a line drawing or some piece of art or a weird painting. So I mean, it could be kind of like an oldish gray, gunmetal gray. It could be sort of a mottled, several kind of gray tones. And I'm sure the lighting on this is the reason I'm thinking it's more purple. Oh man, I wish that one was bigger. Hapan Battle Dragon. Oh, I see why I thought it was a big circle. It's because it's, yeah. So this is probably still the closest we're going to get to it. If I can just cap off that front end a little bit. I don't think these are going to work that well. Oh, they don't come in gray. It doesn't matter. I'm limited on round bricks. I knew this one was going to be a problem. I'm limited on round bricks, but get this. If you want a star, you can have a star. Don't let it be said Lego never did anything for you. Giving you a star. Well, Shostakovich. So here's the other option. We could use bricks instead of plates. And the problem with using bricks instead of plates sometimes is that it gets pretty thick and chunky. And you do not want that kind of soup in your mix. I don't think I've got another one that's like that. Sometimes you make wings out of plates or out of bricks because it's smoother and you don't want to have, it's again called snot building. Snot meaning studs not on top. So you turn the brick sideways and build it out. And it's got a nice smooth finish on both sides. And then the studs are out here, which you can cap off and it looks really nice. So I don't know, I'm trying to think how I would even go about doing this. Oh, you know what? I do have an idea. Let's try this. So 2x1 inverted. It's not going to be really round, but we're going to give this a shot and just see how it looks. Will that work too? That may be too much. So let me start with these guys. And then add these guys. And then because I don't care about that side bit just yet. Oh no, wait, 1x2 brick. Come on. So it's Friday night. I'm hoping people are getting ready to go out and do stuff. We have friends coming over for a Buffy. We're rewatching all of Buffy. So that'll be fun. It's been a couple weeks and it's been very pleasant. So let's see, 2x1 slope. And I'll get some height on this. So this is just a better overall shape, right? And now what we can do with this shape is we can build on the fact that there's open area here that I can put the 1x2s with the studs on the sides, or I can leave it open and have somebody sit in it. What may be a bit of a problem later is connecting this to the underside. So now that this is, I'm going to just do this for both of them. And the beauty part of this is now I can do copy paste, and we'll figure that out in a second. You know, even if I wanted to shorten these guys up, that might be too short. But I might be able to, nah, that's a bit much. Yeah, I like that. Oh, what happened to those guys? Oh, I moved them. All right, so now we have our top and bottom shapes. That took a long time to get top and bottom shapes, but we got it. I'm proud of us. Way to go, team. Now this one we can just fill in with top and bottom bricks. You can kind of see, this is just such a crappy image. I wish it was bigger. It cones up, it cones down. There's a little thing under here. So I mean, this should be really, really basic to get finished at this point. Here's a thing that I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but nope, I don't want to go to PayPal. There are these spines that obviously are involved in holding the ship together. There are also bits of weaponry around the edges. These are all the turbo lasers I was talking about. The reason it's built like this, and this is pretty ingenious, this is almost Star Trek level phaser bank array kind of technology, in that they are super powerful lasers, or turbo lasers, but they need time to cool off, right? You fire it, it needs time to cool off before you can fire it again. Otherwise it'll overheat and you'll slag the barrel, or you'll burn out all the components. So they fire it, and then because it sits on this rotational disc, they fire it and then everything rotates. They can fire it and then it can rotate and they can fire it. So what happens is you basically, what they make up for in the ability to do that is they lack targeting. So you can't really hone in on one target. You can basically just throw up a wall of lasers and you're going to hit something, right? And they have thousands of these ships, and each ship has hundreds of these guns. So I mean, it's just this wall of, it's almost like anti-aircraft flak, right? Or a flak cannon, or an anti-aircraft spread, right? So it's a pretty distinct part of the ship. Now I'm a little worried that what I'm doing here is not going to allow for that. I can put stuff in between the gaps here, but I don't know how that's gonna, because this is how many, dozens of these guns, or however many we've got here. But I think if I give an indication that there's something in here, that might work. But it just has to be a little thing. It can't be too egregious. Like, I don't want to put a lever in there. That's just too big. And I'll show you. This is just too much, right? That's too big. It just needs to be a little thing, and I don't know exactly how I'm going to be able to do that yet, but I have an idea. So it might expand how long this is, but let's give it a shot. So I'm going to separate those, and we're going to do my new favorite friend, the 1x1 bracket. Come on. I don't know if it's just a Mac thing or a me thing, but it just feels like these are these controls sometimes can be a bit sluggish, grabbing the pieces and moving them to the work area. Yeah, I don't think that suffers too much, but I don't know. We'll see when it comes together. I can always just go back and erase it all. See, and I don't even have to really do anything, just put these on there. I don't know if I can make this work because those don't exist in that color. So these are all going to be these down facing ones. Come on. Ah, dang it. All right. So maybe I color these. Here's the problem, is these can be colored. Should have seen that coming. These can be colored dark gray, dark bluish gray, but these can't? Is that what I remember? Yep. Well, cracker, cheese and rice, got down, sat on a bench. Because I think that would have looked good, or at least passable. But, as you can see, I have different colors, so it's not going to work. Plus, you know what? It actually kind of loses some of the swoopiness. I may just have to kind of go without having those side guns in there. I know it's like part of the aesthetic of it. And I try to keep to the aesthetic of the ship. Like if there's one defining feature of a craft or one or two really obvious parts, then I try to include that somehow. I don't know. Maybe I'll stick with it. Maybe it'll be. There's also. So there's, you could do these too. Oh, come on. And just kind of give it the indication that they are weapons, you know? Stuff like that. Or this guy. Just have something kind of sticking out. I don't even know if I can get this color. Doesn't exist. And this one doesn't either. What did I do wrong there? Oh, it's a thin clip. So, I mean, the problem is you're building on such a scale where you really want like very, very granular detail, but this is about as small as it gets for Lego. I don't know of anything smaller than like a 1x1 anything. I mean, there's the lever handles. You know, there's occasional utensils that are kind of small. But anything on a kind of a bulky, being able to order a lot of them in a gray and a kind of a regular color, there's really not a whole lot. Plus, these don't radiate around, right? They don't point in different directions. Like if you're looking at this, you can see that they all kind of point in different directions. This would just be a bunch of stuff sticking out on the side. So I think I'm gonna kind of not do that, sadly. I might figure out something for these guns in the middle, because that's still part of the importance of the build. But this does give me an idea about how to do the spines. I can flip these guys over, bar 4L, and use these guys in between, and they can be the right color. And that'll be about the right size. So we'll see if that works out. I'll leave this out here so we can kind of work with it. But what I might do, and I don't know how many, you know, it's like a whole cage over here, and I just don't know if that's going to be even possible to do that kind of level of detail. Try. I mean, you could do something like this and have a couple of them. So there's that crossbar. But you'd have to have several to go across there. And I don't think there's anything else as simple, but with the crossbar in it. Oh, you know what might work? Tire iron? Yeah. There's a... that might actually be really great if I can pull that off. So I'm going to take a second to look up a part that's a minifig utensil, but I think it only comes in like a weird pearled silver or something. But I don't know what it's... it's not called a tire iron. I wish somebody was on chat who knew more about Lego stuff than I do. It's a wrench, I think, maybe. I might pull it up. Part. Yeah, there we go. 4-way lug wrench. Let's see what colors this come in. Known. Flat silver. I'd be all right with something flat silver on my ship. So this is, let's just put in lug wrench. Oh, you're kidding me. What's the part number? 1142D. Well, I'm not going to be able to design with it. That's for dang sure. That would have been kind of fun. I don't know why it's not in there. I don't think it's that new of a part. 2008. It's been out for a while. Anyway, well, that shoots that in the butt. So we're back to just doing this. And I think what I can do is just kind of rotate these guys up. I don't know why they're not just rotating up nicely, but... And I can get rid of these. So they're all the same color. Oh, this ship is definitely a lot more complicated than I knew it was going to be rough, but I didn't think it was going to be this weird. And I'm okay, you know, with this little bit hanging over the side. That's fine. Put a couple of these guys in there. Oh, wait. So this will flip over. All right, I have to remember that. All right, now here's going to be the issue is I like these guys the way they are, kind of like that. But here's the thing. I don't have it anymore. Nope. Where am I? Oh, there we are. These angle out slightly. You see that? So it's not straight back, straight up and back. Oh, and here's another thing. I have no idea what the back of this ship looks like. Oh, there we go. That's kind of a good look. One, it looks like maybe 3 engines, maybe 4, 2 big ones and then 2 small ones on the side. So yeah, but anyway, they kind of, this image isn't great because there's nothing in the front, but this image, they all lean out a little bit. Oh, that's not right. That's not right either. Come on. So what I might do is not have these, or I have an even better idea. See, this is where the levers would actually come into play. This would be nice. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold off on these for, well, no, you know what? I probably need to work with these for now so I can get a good idea of how big the middle of this is going to be. And this is where it's going to get dodgy because I can't click these together. So I'm going to have to just kind of move them kind of into place and hope for the best. All right. Already I can tell that's going to be ridiculous. Maybe not. I don't know. What do you think? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. That's actually not terrible. This could actually be a little longer, I think, in the front, which we can accommodate. Nope, don't want to rotate. Get rid of these guys. Copy these guys. Yeah, not looking too shabby. And then we can do kind of a superstructure in the middle here to hold on to the engines in the back. And I can still set the guy right in the middle there. It's going to be nice. It's going to happen, people. Oh, and you know what'll be even better? Instead of this ugliness up here, on both of these, do 2x1 slope. Nope. Maybe it is. Yeah. These nice round guys. Very pleasing. You know what? I'm not going to have these pillars go out any farther than that just yet. So let's get rid of those. Hold those together. Oh, text message. Nothing important. Really wish I had an idea of how to move or have them angled a little bit. If I could just have one angled, that would be great. Oh, we need to do. Yeah, that's nicer. And then because I keep looking over there, that's not where this thing is. That's very flat. So I'm going to be happy doing a 1x2 by 2. 2, yeah. This is going to be another one of those like quasi fragile kind of look only, don't be swooshable kind of models, and I'm okay with that. Most of these are just going to be on display on a table somewhere, so. Oh yeah, this is my favorite song. I may not be able to repeat that, but now I can start building up the back here. Oh, you know what? I'm stupid. These guys need to have the connecting parts or else they're not going to be able to connect. So let's move this guy just for a second. Now here's the trick. Are they going to all line up? These back ones will. This song is called 80s Remix or Remaster. It's super great. Again, this music is Lukash. I think I'm okay to play it on the stream. I emailed and they said that was fine. I'm not monetizing the channel, so not yet anyway. So while I'm doing this, I'm going to again bring up the fact that it would be great, and I'm going to just throw this out there. I have set up a donate link on previous videos. What are you doing? That was uncomfortable. Why is this even up there? On previous videos, I've put up a donate link. I am not doing this for a living, but I would also like to get better headphones because these are junk headphones. They're like 10 years old, and is that still the same size? Yeah. So I'd like to get new headphones. I would like to get a tripod so I can put my phone up, because otherwise you guys have to, you know what, I'm going to take a second before we're done here, and no I won't, I'll do it later. But I'd like to get a tripod up so I can do a camera down facing on the table so we can do builds. I think some live stream building would be kind of fun. And those may not take an hour and a half, those may take 20 minutes, so I could do those kind of at any time. I like this song because it sounds like a boss fight, like an old school N64 boss fight. Oh, that's gonna be so great. I like the way that's turning out. Now, before we get too far into this, I don't have a minifigure idea for this yet, so what I'll end up doing, because we're getting kind of close to the end, we got another 15 minutes or so, but 1x4 brick studs. Oh, so what I was saying before is headphones, tripod. I'd also like to get a light tent, and I've spoken about this before, but I'd like to be able to photograph these nicely. And the way I've been photographing them now is just kind of natural light, sitting on a table in my dining room, or the lighting in my front bathroom is not terrible, and it has a nice white backsplash and a white counter, but it's just yellowy, dingy enough that it doesn't look great, right? And it still casts some funny shadows, and I'd like to get, and I've cut out a box and I've put some tissue paper on it, but it's not the best solution. I'd actually like a nice light box. And there are some that, it's a kit, comes with a light box and 2 LED lights and a little tripod. Those are fantastic. They're like $40. I may just spring for one of those, but I'm going to put like a wish list up and a donate button up, and if you guys feel sparky, you can contribute to the furthering of the greatness that this channel will become. You are not buying beer. I will buy my own beer. Speaking of beer, I'm almost done with that one, but I want to try this other one before it gets too warm. This again is the 4th Tap +2 Vitality. This is a local brewery here in Austin. There's an area called a brewery. We call it the Brewery Mile. There's like 5 breweries within like a 3-mile radius. It's kind of ridiculous. When we go for Barks for Beers, which I'll bring up at a later time because we're getting close to that, we hit that area, and it's almost walking distance. Like you can go to 3 different breweries and a cidery, which I won't mention who they are, but they're not my favorite. I used to really like cider, but it kind of got a little heavy, and then some people started doing it, and it was really good. So let's cheers. Yeah, this is pretty smooth. It's not very hoppy. It's a light. This is kind of feels like a good table beer. Like you could just drink a couple of them with dinner, or just chilling out like on a warm afternoon sometime. It doesn't have that much bite to it. It's not very crisp or like really light, so it's not bad. I would get it. Kind of gives me a regular Shiner or a Thirsty Goat kind of feel. It's pretty good. I don't know what the ABV is, so I don't know if it's like a dangerous one to like just slam a bunch of these, but it's pretty good. And I like the can art. It's not bad. So yeah, if you're in Austin anytime, check these guys out. 4th Tap. Let's see. And if you have suggestions for beers that you think I might like, I'm a big fan of imperial stouts, bourbon barrel aged drinks, that kind of thing. dark beers that you end up having to chew or eat with a fork. Guinness kind of ruined me back in the day. So yeah, so that's good. Now this front part doesn't have to have anything special. I don't think I'm going to be able to. It has this like plating and radial kind of look to it. I just don't think I'm going to be able to get that to look like that, which is, again, it's a distinctive part of the ship. I just don't know how I'm going to be able to do that. I really wish there were plates that were that shape, like an egg shape or a, I mean, they have round plates. They have these things. This is just within reach. They have these things. And they've got, this is about as rounded a plate as they get, or a little bigger, right? That's about as round as they get. But they don't have anything oblong, anything not a perfect circle or kind of a perfect 90 degrees worth of arc. It's not going to happen. So that's kind of a tragedy. But you can fake it. There's also slopes that are more rounded that I could probably work with to make this a little less chunky, but I think this works in giving it its kind of dynamic. I should have kept the other plates because I have a feeling that I could have used. And now that this is snot build, like, okay, so it's snot now because it's not facing, it's not doing this, right? This is a regular build, right? Because all the studs are facing up. But a snot build just means that you get a regular brick that's facing a different direction. So because I'm not doing that, I don't know how I'm going to do, oh, you know what would be a good piece? I wonder if that'll fit in there. This might be a little big. This is also kind of an old school piece. How big is that going to be? I think that may be a little big. Yeah, but that would have been kind of nice if it would have fit. And see, yeah, it's even a little too wide for that. These are just old school rocket booster. There's not many things that use this anymore unless it's using it for like a column pillar base or something like that. There's just not a lot of rocket ships or not a lot of space Lego anymore. Some Star Wars sets might have them, but I've got a bunch of them from when I collected old classic space and Futuron and stuff like that. So I may have to, that would have been nice to be able to do that. I don't think I have anything more squat. So what we can do is just do another, this has got to be flipped around. I don't know what I was thinking with that. But this one, I don't like this song. This is on shuffle, right? Yeah, all right. I think I can start doing on both sides and start building this up in the middle. One of the things that I'm going to run into a problem is these guys are fine for like one-off kind of things, but if you stack them, you can't then put a plate on it. It's the wrong dimensions. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Oh no, I'm totally right. I don't know why that's not throwing a fit. Yeah, that should be throwing a fit all over the place. Collision's on. Yeah. So, I mean, you can see it wants to snap in. This should be colliding and showing me all kinds of errors, but it's not. So there are bricks that, because that'd be great for building up that interior, but I can't do that. So now there's a brick that you can get that they come with the brickhead sets. And if you don't know what brickheads are, I guess I could show you one. This is a brickheads. They're these cute little things, right? This is Captain Jack Sparrow. And they're all over the place. And they've got hundreds of these things, different models. I've only got like 5 because I'm not a huge fan. But they're fun to put together. But they're full of all these, and I'm going to take this one piece off. You can see that. That's what we're talking about here. It's this brick that's able to be stacked. I just have to find it. And you can get these by the scads all over the place. So you can see, and this is your Lego lesson of the day, you can see how they're spaced, right? Now I should be able to put this on it like that. See, that's what it's meant for. These are not meant for that. You're gonna have to do, you have to put 2 extra plates in between these two just to make these studs line up with this. Which is not, you know, it's, if you've got the room, do it, but we don't because we've got a microfighter. So I don't want to have to deal with that hot nonsense. So I'm going to be using the crutch of those brickheads bricks, as we call them. Or as I call them, because I don't think anyone else calls them that. But this is going to make a nice foundation for making the circular area in the middle. And I'm not even going to need that. And then I think I'll just fill this up with 1x4. What time is it? Oh, we got a couple minutes. I have to kind of jet right after this because I have to go make dinner. I don't have to, but I said I was going to make dinner tonight. So I have to get on that. Ow, ow, ow. I'm getting old, people. Some arthritis is kicking in or something. 1x2 plate. This always happens. I've noticed a pattern already, and we're on how many streams? 5? Where I jibber jabber for about an hour, and then I do the best work in like the last 10 minutes. Yeah, that's going to be nice. And then what we could do is we can hang... Oh, you know, this may be a problem. Slightly. I'm only thinking that... Oh, no, you know what? It won't be a problem. I can build up the entire inside from here. It doesn't have to rotate. And then just have it kind of suggested up top here. So what we can start by doing is putting text messages from my children. 4x4 round plate. Stick one of these bad boys in there, and that should fit just right. Now it's going to leave these little studs on the side. I'm not terribly happy about that, but you know what? When all's said and done, you know what? I might even do not a plate, but a brick. Oh, you know what? Balderdash. They don't come in that color. Yeah, they come in that color though. I wonder if we can get away with doing the interior as a different color. Kind of looks like it. Kind of looks like you can. Kind of looks like you can't really. I mean, this is I don't know what this is. Gray, and this is what, brass. Is it just lit by the nebula? This one makes it look like, I know that's probably a shadow, but that looks like there's a darker interior. That one is all purple. I have no idea. Again, this has no slope. It has no chill. Oh, you know what would be great? Wedge left. Wow. Yeah, that won't be too bad. You know what? This is not going to be as round as I want it to, but I bet I can get it to be the right shape. You know, kind of overall. Oh, that's why, because it's right. Right. Did I do a smooth one? There's no shorter smooth one. Okay. And then back here, do 2x2 corner slope. Look at this brilliance. Look how great that piece fits right there. And am I out of music? Does that mean I'm out of time? All right, so since we're out of music, I didn't get nearly as far on this as I wanted to. I think I just chatted too much, but I might push this to 2 hours if I can find a good time to do it. I could go another 30 minutes tonight probably, but you know, you guys who have been watching have stuck with it for an hour and a half. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And as they say, drop a like or a comment, subscribe. Come here. Come on. Come on. Come on. Don't be shy now. Fizzgig, come on. Come on. You're not going to come up here now, are you? You're just going to grab my pant loop and then run away. Yeah, so like, comment, subscribe. If you, I'm going to put up a bunch of links this time. I didn't really do any shout outs that I haven't done already, so check out some past videos and you'll see Creative Brick Builders, Will Heron Designs. Come on. Come up here. Say hi to everybody. Come on, you know you want to. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh, yep, you got it. You got it. Oh, fine. I'll pick you up. This is Fizzgig. Say hi to everybody, Fizzgig. This is the stupid guy who actually leaves my Lego alone quite a bit, so he's very cool. He's very cool about it. But he always wants in my lap. He always wants pets. I'm going to leave in a link to the donate page for PayPal. I might put up the wish list for Amazon, just so I give you an idea what I'm going to be spending the donate stuff on. A link to the Rebrickable page, which has all the instructions. If you're a Lego builder and you like what you see here, or you like what you see on some other stuff that I'm going to be doing in the future, you can always get the instructions there. It also has the parts included that you can buy then on Bricklink or Brick Owl. I'll put up the two links to Shiner and links to Fourth Tap. And I'm also going to put up a link to a Google page that has the entirety of what I've been working on. I'm talking about the XML want lists. I'm talking about the I/O files from working in studio, as all the images. There's also going to be images of and I/O files of ships that aren't mine, but I found on Flickr or some other site, and I liked them enough that I reverse engineered them, or I found the instructions for them and I kind of rebuilt them so I could get a want list for it so I could build them later. And they're all credited, properly credited to the original builder. So if you like their stuff, go look them up. They're, a lot of talented builders out there. But also there's going to be a list of ships that I've done, that I've kind of borrowed, or the ones that, I reverse engineered. And then also the ones that I want to do. So if you guys see one in the to-do list section and it's something that you're familiar with or you've never even heard of, or you look it up and say, wow, that's really groovy, I want to see if that's going to be able to be done, let me know. And you guys have a good weekend. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll talk to you soon.